Right, let's quickly now take you back to one of our leading stories, and we indeed continue with the tributes for the late Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa. We now take you back to Paris, and that's where we are able to connect at this hour with music legend Yvonne Chaka Chaka, who is also a close friend of the ambassador and indeed the family. Ms. Chaka Chaka, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time, albeit under very difficult circumstances. I understand you are there to comfort the family. This must have come as a shock to you.
Well, thank you, Xoli, for having me, and thank you to your viewers as well. Well, in March, April, the civil society that I work with, the global health advocates, including the global Friends of the Global Fund, we had arranged to collaborate with the South African Embassy in France because South Africa will be having G20 next month. So we wanted the fully funded Global Fund. So this was the function that we were going to co-host with the South African Embassy, with the Princes of Africa Foundation, the Global Health Advocates, and the Friends of the Global Fund. It was just to my shock that the person who we had arranged with, which is our Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa, we had then this tragedy. So we decided to cancel our function, which was supposed to have happened yesterday on the 1st of October, which was really arranged between April and May. So that's why I'm in Paris. And it also included, the Paris fashion show that I'll be supporting some of the young South African designers. But I just thought it would be a good thing to come and send condolences to Madame Pili and the family as well, because as much as I was here to come and work and this happened, it was a good thing for me to just come and send condolences as well.
Yeah, my understanding is that you worked very closely with the ambassadors, particularly during his tenure as Arts and Culture Minister. The Nathi Mthethwa you knew, was it someone whom you would, as we now speak about, someone whom you could even associate with taking his own life? Every person we have spoken to spoke about a strong man, a Nathi Mthethwa that certainly would have weathered any storm. And as I ask you this question, are you able to tell us tonight, I did ask the brother, are you able to tell us just the condition, how shattered his wife is at a time like this?
Well, Xoli, it will be very amiss of me, to comment on that. All I know is that I met Minister ages ago, thanks to Ayanda Tlotlo, who introduced me to the minister, and we were we were like good friends. We worked with him as the Minister of Arts and Culture, and a very humble person, a very strong-minded person, and all I know is that he loved reading. He really, really loved reading, and he was quite accessible. Even though he was a minister, he was very accessible. And this time around, me coming to Paris, when I said to him, I'd really want you to see the work that I do with the Global Fund, with rollback malaria, with different organizations, and I'd like South Africa to help us be part of this so that you can get other ambassadors to come to our function. And he obliged. And I'm actually very happy because he also said, I'd also like you to work with my deputy, which is Ms. Ntabiseng, who is our deputy ambassador, Ntabiseng Makawa. And the organization and the preparation to this function, which was meant to happen yesterday, went very smoothly. We managed to invite about 150 people, different ambassadors for different countries, because we wanted to make sure that President Macron takes leadership in funding the Global Fund. So, he had come to the party a very strong-willed person, and he, as I said, very accessible and down to earth. So we know people will be saying all sorts of things, But I think really we need to leave everything to God. It's only him and his God who knows what really happened. But as a man who was alive, he was accessible, willing to help, and was engageable. You could engage with him very easily. And all I just want to say to the family, to Pili and the family, you know, akwehlanga lungehlanga, and just say they should be comforted.
Yeah, yeah. Your abiding memory of him, what will you remember him by?
Well, he's very, you know, low smile. I think between, you know, Minister and Dr. Ramathisela, there are the only two people who called me Ntombi. He's never called me Yvonne. Every time he would call me Ntombi. And people would be surprised who is Ntombi. But as I said, very accessible, very down to earth, very calm. You know, I've never had him shouting. I remember there were instances where there would be problems with arts and culture and the programs that were not being funded. And maybe I would call him and screaming and say, you know, we need to support young people, young artists and things like that. And I would go on and make noise and scream. And he would just listen and he would say, and because I would be screaming and shouting about less funding for the artists and not engaging and things like that. But he was always calm and he would say, and this is how I've always known him to be.
Yeah. Yvonne Chaka Chaka, thank you very much for your time and reflecting on the memory of Nathi Mthethwa, the ambassador of South Africa to France. And she is one of South Africa's acclaimed, a legend in the arts and culture.